Welcome to another Adventures Through History. Have you ever imagined a place with more books than you could ever read in a lifetime? A place where you can find comic books, maps of Mars, Abraham Lincoln's speeches, and even video games? Well, welcome to the Library of Congress, the biggest library in the entire world. The Library of Congress is the official library of the US government, and it's also one of the most beautiful and important libraries in the world. It was created to help lawmakers do research and make smart decisions. But today it also helps teachers, students, scientists, artists, and even you. And guess what? A lot of it is free online, so you can just explore it from anywhere. Now, if we want to understand how this library in Washington, D.C. got started, we're going to have to go back to our second president. On April 12, 1800, President John Adams approved a decision by Congress to move the capital from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. And at that time, $5,000 was set aside to buy books to create the Library of Congress. And this gave the people in Congress a place they could do research. Now, in comparison today, it was really small. And in 1812, the first catalog or list of books was published. The entire library consisted of 3,076 books and 53 maps and charts. Now, sadly, things did not go smoothly for our country or the Library of Congress in the next few years. And in 1814, during the War of 1812, British troops wanted to destroy our capital city, and they burned down important buildings, including the Capitol, and the library inside was destroyed. And that's when Thomas Jefferson came to the rescue. Jefferson was a book lover and had been collecting them for his entire life. Jefferson's library had thousands of books on every subject you can imagine, not just government or law. And he believed that to understand the world, lawmakers needed to know about everything. And he offered to sell his own personal library to restart the collection. His idea helped shape the Library of Congress into the massive collection it is today. He sold 6,487 of his own personal books to the government for a little less than $24,000. In April of 1815, the process started of moving the books from Jefferson's home in Virginia to Washington, D.C. In the end, there were 10 wagon loads of books, and many were shipped in the bookshelves that Jefferson had used in his own home. The library grew from there, but sadly, there was another fire that was accidentally set on Christmas Eve in 1851, and about 35,000 books were destroyed, including about 4,000 of Jefferson's books. To keep another fire from wiping out the library again, a fireproof iron room was opened a couple years later. The library grew again, and soon there wasn't enough room in the Capitol building for everything. And in 1897, a new, beautiful building across the street opened as the new Library of Congress. Today, the Library of Congress is massive. It has over 170 million items. That includes 38 million books, materials in over 470 languages, the largest map collection in the world, over 5 million music recordings, the largest comic book collection, and more than 75 million photographs and manuscripts. You can find Abraham Lincoln's handwriting there, the first movie that was ever made, a Braille book written for blind readers, and many of those books from Jefferson's personal library. The Library of Congress isn't just for Congress, it's actually for everybody. Lawmakers use it to study topics before writing laws. Teachers and students use it for homework and learning. Musicians, filmmakers, and authors use it for research. Even scientists and inventors explore the library for ideas. And you can too. If you visit loc.gov, you can start exploring right now. One building is not enough to house this massive collection. There are actually three big buildings in Washington, D.C. First is the Thomas Jefferson Building. It's the oldest and the fanciest. But there's also the John Adams Building and the James Madison Memorial Building close by. The Jefferson Building is stunning. It's kind of like a palace of knowledge. It has paintings, carvings, and even a big main reading room with a golden dome. The ceilings are covered in beautiful designs, and there are several exhibits people can visit to learn more about our country's history. You can even see some of those surviving books Thomas Jefferson sold in 1815. Some people say it's the most beautiful library in the world. Some of the fun things the library has include a giant book that's actually over 7 feet tall. It also has one of the smallest books ever written, which is the size of a pencil tip. The original Star-Spangled Banner's there, a recording of Thomas Edison's voice, and one of the oldest surviving baseball cards. It even has the first video game manuals. Our early leaders knew that protecting our country's knowledge, past and present, was vitally important. And that is what the Library of Congress does. It makes sure the important information isn't lost so future generations can learn from it. It keeps us informed, helps us create, and reminds us that learning is for everybody. So remember, the Library of Congress isn't just for presidents or politicians, it belongs to every American. So whether you're reading a book, doing a project, or just curious, remember you have access to one of the greatest libraries in the world. Because knowledge is power, and this power is for you. Thanks for watching. If you learned something today or just enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.